This is a community conversation. I'm Maura Carlin. My guest is Andrew Ritchie, a senior at Rhinebeck High School and an Eagle Scout who recently put together a video about mental health issues. Thanks for joining me, Andrew. Tell me, why did you make this video?
Yeah. So for starters, when you're becoming an Eagle Scout, you have to do a service project for your troop. And so normally these projects are more hands-on landscaping work, like cleaning up a park or invasive species and stuff like that. But I decided, I've seen through my life a lot of people affected by mental illness, especially in my age. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to, do something I'm passionate about, which is film, and create something to help my friends and people I know.
Have you actually seen the pandemic creating mental health challenges for folks you know?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I know, especially in students, the situation at high schools right now it's pretty bad.
In what
Yeah, I
way?
know. Yeah. So when I think of school, I think there's two aspects. There's like the academic aspect, studying, homework, and all that, and there's a social aspect. And right now, the social aspect is pretty much non-existent. So it kind of takes away, the excitement of going to school and seeing your friends. Because right now, it's just you go to school and you do homework and all that. It's not really fun. I know school isn't about education, but yeah.
It's probably also hard when you do see people, everyone's
Yeah,
wearing a mask and you don't
yeah,
know who's
exactly.
who. So who is your video for? Kids, teens, adults, young or old?
Yeah. So the target audience in mind was high schoolers, specifically going into college. But honestly, the video can help anybody who's struggling. Especially now, I know a lot of people are struggling. But it was more about balancing school, extracurriculars, friends, athletics, and stuff like that.
You interviewed a mental health professional for your video. What did you learn that most surprised you or you think would most surprise others?
Yeah. So one fact I learned was that I think it's about 1/4 of all teenagers diagnosed with a mental illness. Now, what surprised me most about that is that it's probably not an accurate statistic, because there's more likely to be more that are undiagnosed. And just knowing that, it goes to show the lack of awareness and knowledge that the general population has towards this. Um, you know, I'd say the statistics more close to like 1/3 of the teenage population is actually affected by mental illness. So yeah, that really surprised me, and it goes to
Do
show
you
how important it is.
do you think there's still stigma attached to it for teens?
I definitely think so, but I mean, throughout the years, the stigma has definitely been reduced. I know my dad went to high school, and he's diagnosed with general anxiety disorder. At that point, being depressed was like, oh, you're sad, just get over it. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, as they say, right? And
Right.
today, I think that's still there to an extent, but overall, people are, more accepting of it, and it's great to see that, and it seems to be only going in a positive direction in the future. So it's really good to see that, yeah.
So having done this interview and put together this video, has it caused you to change anything that you do in your life with respect to yourself or with respect to other people in your life?
Yeah, 100%. I think, doing the research I did for this, and just, seeing everything, it caused me to be more open-minded with other people. It's not just like one note, like, oh, like you have depression, these are the things you have to do. It's like, treatment for everybody's different, and everyone experiences their own mental illness, like depression, in their own way. And therefore they have different symptoms, different treatments. So it's hard to tell, you know, specifically what someone's going through. And that's what I learned, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
Great. So you are a senior. Do you have
Mhm.
plans for next year?
Yeah. So right now, I'm most likely going to be going to Emerson College to study media arts production. Um,
Just like our executive director.
yeah. Oh, he went to Emerson too?
I
Or,
believe so.
oh, look at that.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you for joining us. For LMC Media, I'm Maura Carlin. And now here's Andrew Ritchie's PSA on mental health issues.
For stuff like anxiety and depression and other mental illnesses, there's typically signs. Can you inform us on what those signs would be? So maybe if we see a friend, we can help them, reach out.
So most adolescents or even adults will sometimes be, so for depression, it would be maybe increase in sadness. So someone crying a lot, feeling down, they're not coming out anymore with you. So you might see an increase in irritability. You may see an increase in high risk behavior. So increase in drinking, increase in drug using, increase in sexual activity, increase in self-harm. Anxiety, that would be more panic too. So if someone's really anxious, they're hyperventilating, they're worrying, overly worrying, they're avoiding things that they used to do with you. Those are the signs I would look for.
So I know school is a very stressful time for teenagers, especially going into college, especially today with technology and stuff. Now, how much of a factor do you think that plays into a teenager's mental health?
I think the last 10 years I've seen a big increase in the sense and the idea that I have to be perfect, or I have to be unique, or I have to get into the best schools, or I even have to be happy. I have to be happy all the time. And if I'm not happy all the time, something's wrong. You don't have to be number one to be a valuable member of society. You don't have to be the best in anything to have a good life. You're going to have times where you're sad. Sadness is different than depression, though. You're going to have times you're anxious, and that's different than an anxiety disorder. But there are moments where you're going to feel those things. And there's nothing wrong with you if you do, because that's normal life. So I think there is social media and pressures in school have pushed people to feel like I have to have this like perfect, happy life. And the reality is life has challenges.
So you mentioned increase in drug use and alcohol use. I found that in my life, I've seen people who fear opening up, turn to self-medication, such as alcohol and drug use. And so I guess, do you have anything to say about that?
Yes. A lot of people will come in my office and say, well, I smoke pot because it makes me feel better. Yeah, I mean, that might be a valuable statement. But a lot of these things we're taking on are depressants. So you're actually making the situation worse. So you smoke pot, you feel better, you smoke more pot. Well, I've seen anxiety become paranoid, like behavior. I've seen them lose the ability to have executive functionings where now they can't go to class anymore. So in the long run, it builds up and usually ends up to more problems.
Depression, it feeds off of ignorance. Like if you try to ignore it, it just gets worse and worse. If you take it head on, you can really help yourself by doing that.
I think the process of opening up is so much harder than the after. Once someone really listens to you and is there to help, usually the burden comes off of you, right? So you've got some support. So the first step is the hardest.
Thank you for having us and letting us into your office and sharing your knowledge and experience with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Come anytime.